Well, hello and welcome to the latest edition of Short Ashes by Stogie Review. I am Walt White, and you're probably wondering why you're getting a Short Ashes review on Friday. Well, I've got something a little different in the works, and part of the review is actually taking place on Friday. I'm going to be doing a cigar, which is a house blend for a company, I think it's down in North Carolina, down in that area. It's a La Flor Dominicana cheroot. And I spoke with Hal, the brand owner, and I'm going to do a short phone interview with him. So rather than me regurgitate information about the brand, I'm going to just let him tell you directly. So I've got that going on tomorrow, and as a result I'm waiting to do the review until I can incorporate everything together. So for the Short Ashes review, I've got something I've done once before. And it's a cigar that I like quite a bit, and it's got a little bit of buzz about it online, and that is the El Cobre, which is made by Oliva. Maybe I can get the band to focus for you. At any rate, I've done this cigar before. I'm still learning the camera because there we go. So I've done this cigar before. It actually made my top 5 cigar lists. I think it was 2 years ago, and it's one I still enjoy quite a bit. And as you can see, this one's got a defect in it in the band. Actually, you can see it kind of looks a little goofy, and I noticed that as I was trying to take some pictures of it just for personal use, and I kind of spotted that the band was a little goofy. It looks like it was cut wrong, but in any case, I've got the El Cobre to smoke. And just like all the others I've smoked, it's kind of rugged looking. It's got medium-sized veins. It's a little lumpy, bumpy. It's got oily patches throughout. It feels a little rough. It's got a little bit of a rough texture to it. Just sort of pinching it. Feels nice and firm. One little soft spot, but pretty good overall. It's sort of got like a heavy sort of, I guess sort of a musty aroma to it. Maybe like hay or something like that. So let's go ahead and get the cigar opened up. So anyway, more on this La Flor cigar that I'm doing, which I'll probably do this weekend. I was planning on doing the Short Ashes video for sometime this weekend, but due to circumstances with me getting the mixer all worked out and ironing out the kinks in my current setup, I'm sort of pushing it back so that I can get the review done. After that, I've got another cigar which I don't quite remember the name of. I just know that they are rolled in-house, and I don't quite remember where the store is. One of the cigars is a barber pole, and I think it's called a Zebra. And I've got one more from the brand. It's a boutique brand. I haven't heard of it before the cigars showed up, so I've got that coming up, and of course I'll give you a lot more information then. Yeah, it's just some cigar that's being rolled in-house, you know, when it's time for the review to be done. Alright, well, got my cigar lit, producing lots of smoke. Got that initial punch in the sinus as soon as I retrohaled the smoke a little bit, so everything's going right, or going just as it should. So sit tight, I'll be back and get started on the first third of my my El Cobre by Oliva. Nah, I give up. You know what the band looks like. Well, welcome back. I'm plugging along on my El Cobre. I put it up to the camera, but I'm afraid it's not going to focus again. Most of the way through the first third, I suppose. I chose the Churchill tonight because I had a little bit extra time. I got started a little earlier than usual, and sorry about that. I thought I muted the Twitter. But anyway, I thought that I had the time to smoke a cigar that would be a little bit longer, and I do like these in a Churchill size, so that's what I went with. The body is just as expected. I mean, I've smoked a fair amount of these, and they always start out, you know, full throttle. It starts out full body. It gives you a blast of spice and pepper through the sinuses. It'll get your eyes watering a little bit. You know, it'll sort of make you, I don't know, whatever sensation you get when you eat like a really hot horseradish or a Chinese mustard or something like that. You get that heat or that sensation that sort of comes up through the sinuses. You get like a mild version of that with this cigar. It's just very heavy, very pungent through the sinuses, and I like that. I really do. The cigar's aggressive. It's a little rough. The flavors, the main flavor is sort of like a down and dirty, earthy flavor. A little rough, rugged. You know, that may not sound appealing, but every once in a while I love smoking just a very full-bodied, just powerhouse of a cigar, and this one always does it for me. Finish is smooth. It's got a heavy, creamy texture to it. Finish, as I mentioned, very heavy through the sinus. The smoke rate is good. It's burning. You know, it seems like it's burning on average. I don't feel like I'm smoking fast. Doesn't feel like it's taking forever to smoke. And I know that sounds strange. Well, you know, what is normal? Well, like for instance, one cigar that seems to take forever, it feels like I'm smoking a cigar forever, are the Isle de Cuba cigars, the natural, the Connecticut, and the aged Maduro. Both of those cigars are very densely packed with tobacco. It's like they don't burn, they just smolder. And it takes forever to get through that cigar. It's very slow, drawn out, deliberate cigar. This one doesn't feel long and drawn out. It feels like it's smoking like it should. Not too fast where it's getting hot and bitter. Not too slow where you know, you're glancing at the clock every few minutes thinking, you know, am I going to be up all night with this cigar? The burn rate is good. Burn line, a little wavy. It's a little heavy in spots. It's got a little bit of blistering, but you know, all in all, it's a solid cigar. It's burning properly. It's burning fairly evenly. It forms a fairly condensed, tight ash, medium gray in color. It's good, solid flavor, very heavy body, and just all in all, good cigar. And I'm smoking it with a cup of Black Dog coffee. I'm not quite sure which roast it is. But all in all, it's going great. So sit tight. I'll be back. We'll do the second, third, and see if the El Cobre makes any change. Well, welcome back. I'm still plugging along on my El Cobre Churchill, and there's been a slight change of plans. You know, I lit up this cigar thinking, you know, I've got all the time in the world. I should have no problem smoking this and then having time to unwind a little bit and then go to bed to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning for work. What I didn't account for was the time it was going to take me to encode this video and then upload the video so that it's viewable on Stogie Review. So you're actually not seeing this video on Friday when you should be seeing my regular review. You're seeing this on Saturday, the day after I missed the review. And chances are tomorrow, being Sunday, you'll see the interview that I'm going to do with Hal from, wow, I can't even think of the name of his shop. But anyway, yeah, the brand owner of the La Flor Dominicana Cheroot, his house blend. So there's been a little bit of confusion, but hopefully it all makes sense now. Back to the cigar. It's smoking beautifully. Even though it's taking a long time to smoke, I don't feel like the cigar's dragging along. You know, as I mentioned, like the Isle de Cubas, you know, I really need to set time aside to smoke those cigars because they burn so slow. You know, this one is right on par. I don't feel like I'm burning, this cigar's burning too fast, it's not too slow. It's a very comfortable pace. The volume of smoke is very nice. Getting a big mouthful every time I puff on the cigar. The draw is good. There's a little bit of resistance, but it's not so much that I feel like I'm working the cigar. The body is very much full. It's crept up a little bit since the first third. Leaves a very heavy, thick texture on the walls of the mouth, and feels like I have a film across the top of my mouth, across the palate. Resting smoke is fairly light, and you know that would be to. I would expect that because of the burn rate. Normally, I tend to see a lot of resting smoke if a cigar is burning too fast. You'll see it sort of wafting off of the cigar. In this case, it's fairly light. I can't smell much of a room aroma, but the last time I had one of these cigars, my wife made a comment about me smelling horrible. So I'm sure if I get within, nose distance of her, she'll inform me just how stinky this cigar is. But the flavor is fantastic. It's sort of like a down and dirty, earthy flavor, like I mentioned before. It's getting a little richer, a little creamier as I go along. It's got a very deep, earthy base that's enjoyable. I can't say it enough. I really like these types of cigars every once in a while, especially to cap off the night. They put such a tremendous amount of flavor across the palate that it makes it difficult to smoke another cigar after these. At least for me, anyway. I feel like my palate's sort of dulled, and I can't fully enjoy a cigar after these unless it's fuller than this. And I haven't found a ton of cigars that are much fuller than the El Cobre. But all in all, I'm enjoying it. It's got a solid, earthy core flavor, a little rugged, sort of dirty, smooth finish, lots and lots of body, and you still get a nice punch through the sinuses when you retrohale the smoke. So all in all, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So now that I've straightened up that it's actually not Friday that you're seeing this, and you understand what's going on, I'm going to take another quick production break. I'll be back to wrap up the El Cobre, and then I'll let you be on your way. So sit tight. Well, welcome back, and it's about time to finish up my El Cobre Churchill. And I'm feeling ready to put down the cigar. It's quite a large cigar at being a Churchill, so you get a lot of smoke across the palate. And one of the things that I'm finding uncomfortable about this cigar now is I'm getting like an irritated spot right in the center of my tongue where the smoke is coming through the cigar and hitting my tongue. Partially because the smoke is warm, and partially because it's just so full-bodied and aggressive. As it sort of swoops around your mouth, I'm getting a very heavy, just a heavy, creamy sort of thick texture, mostly across the palate. It's almost like a film. As you retrohale the smoke and get it through your sinuses, it's still got a very aggressive punch. There's a lot of spice, there's a lot of earthy tones that come through, and you get that nice earthy flavor and aroma out of the cigar, and it just picks up depth and complexity as the cigar goes. It's really a stink pot of a cigar, and that's really the best way to put it. It's sort of stinky, it tastes great, it's very full-bodied, very full-flavored, it's kind of rough and rugged. It doesn't have an overly refined taste to it. It's just, there's just an abundance of flavor and body. And that's what I enjoy about the cigar most. It's a nice change of pace to have something that's just, all out, full throttle right from the get-go. It makes a perfect cigar to end the night with. I don't have any intentions of smoking another cigar after this. I probably wouldn't enjoy them nearly as much because my palate just seems very desensitized from all the strength and the kick of the cigar. Finish is smooth. It's creamy. It's fairly long. As I mentioned, I get that film on the roof of my mouth. It's been there for quite some time now. It doesn't give me any impression of fading anytime soon. It goes great with coffee. I've since switched over to something with a little sugar in it. I've got a cup of iced tea. And all in all, I really enjoy these cigars. They're about $4 a piece. The only downside is you can only buy them in bundles of 25. So you're paying about $100 a bundle, and you can only buy them from discountcigars.org, I think it is. It's a shop up in Connecticut. Very enjoyable cigar, house blend made by Oliva for this place in Connecticut. So you know, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you know, I enjoyed the cigar. It's something that I keep in my rotation. I will continue to smoke them on occasion, and you know, I really enjoy them. If you're a full-bodied cigar smoker, this is something you may want to look into. If you sort of hang out in the medium range or the mild to medium range, this is something you probably want to avoid. It may be a kind of way over the top for you, because had I not had something fairly heavy for dinner, it may have been a little too much to just pick up and smoke, especially starting as early as I did. I've been going at this for nearly 3 hours. I'm a fairly slow smoker to begin with. So there's a lot of nicotine punch to the cigars, a lot of depth, full flavor, just full throttled body. And you know, it makes for a very powerful cigar, if you will. So exercise caution when smoking the El Cobre. You know, that little warning label that's on the box of you know, Rocky Patel Edge, you know, the warning full-bodied cigar kind of labels. If there was a cigar that was going to have one, this would be one of them, along with like the Opus X and the La Flor Double Ajero and whatnot. But a cigar I really enjoy, so check it out if you're into full-bodied cigars. Until next time, happy smoking.